All right, good afternoon, everyone. Oh, let's try that again. This is post-lunch. We're excited, right? Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, yes, thank you so much. Welcome to exam prep session for MB-900. My name is Sarah Jelinek. Very happy to have you here. We're going to be talking about Dynamics 365 Fundamentals, the exam that is available for you to take now here at Ignite or outside of Ignite if you want to. How many people have signed up for this exam already? Excellent. All right, I'm going to make you move your arms a little bit more, just a second. How many of you have signed up for other certifications or planning to take them here at Ignite? Excellent. Well, if you have a chance, if you haven't, stop by and go ahead and register for those exams. It's a really great feature to be able to do that. So let's talk a little bit about Dynamics 365 Fundamentals. Just a quick introduction of myself. My name is Sarah Jelinek. Don't worry about trying to spell the last name. It's written up there for you. I'm a technology evangelist at Arctic IT. My company is based out of Anchorage, Alaska. I live in Fargo, North Dakota. So either way, it's still in the Arctic. I've been working with Microsoft Dynamics 365 since version 3.0 of CRM. I used to work with Dynamics GP, worked a little bit with finance and operations. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer focused specifically on Dynamics 365 and recently awarded the Most Valuable Professional from Microsoft. So in this session, what I want to basically give you are three main takeaways. And the first is that this is an exam prep session. It's not an exam cram. We are not intending to give you every single thing that you need to know. We're going to give you the topics that you need to know because it is a pretty expansive exam when you think about it. Getting the foundational knowledge of Dynamics 365 applications, not just from a customer engagement perspective, but from a finance and operations perspective as well. Working with cloud computing, understanding the Power Platform, the deployment options and licensing. So there's a lot of content, and it's really hard to try fit that into 45 minutes. But the idea here is that we want to give you the information that you'll want to look at and research. This PowerPoint will also contain some information on how to get those resources. We provide links to documentation that will help you better understand what you need to review to prepare for this. Also, we're going to take a look at the exam topics and breakdown. With every exam that you take, you have an objective domain, and that gives you an idea of the content that's going to be covered, how much of it makes up the exam, the different topics that make up those areas. We're going to be reviewing that as well. And we're also going to take a look at the materials that are available to you. As I mentioned, they're going to be available in this PowerPoint, but they're also available to you right now if you happen to go to microsoft.com/learn or docs.microsoft.com/learn. But we're going to bring up some of that information here. I'm going to quickly go over a certification overview. How many of you have taken a certification exam before? Oh, great, a good number of you. For those of you that haven't, don't worry. We're going to talk you through the process so you feel comfortable the first time you sit down and take that exam. For business applications, you're going to see that we have three different areas that you can focus on. The first is getting that fundamental knowledge. Now, there are a couple of exams listed on that left-hand side, the first one being the Power Platform Fundamentals. This is a new exam. It's actually in beta right now. You can sign up and register for that. With a beta exam, you don't get your score right away. They're just going to take your results, and eventually after it comes out of beta, you would get your information. This exam is not in beta. You can take this right now. And if you notice, the information that we're covering in those two different exams, Power Platform is going to tend to cover a little bit more of some of the Dynamics customer engagement, as you can say, the sales, the service, as well as just understanding the platform, Common Data Service, working with Power Apps, Power Automate, as it was recently renamed yesterday, and talking about some of those concepts. The next level, after you've achieved that fundamental certification, is the associate. So you have your sales associate, customer service, for finance, and these are associates as well as the role of a functional consultant. So you're basically taking your level of knowledge to a higher level, showing that you not only know the fundamentals of the Dynamics 365 stack, but that you also know the specific applications, getting into the details, how do they work, what functionality do they provide, other than just simply what solutions can they solve. And then you can finally take that to the next level with an expert. For those of you that might be solution architects or interested in becoming a solution architect, here's where you really show your knowledge, in-depth knowledge of all the applications and having the ability to understand how to deploy them properly. So this is an exam or certification path that you can look at from a business applications perspective. Now, if you're wondering if you're the right audience for this exam, just got a quick audience profile here. Those that take this exam really are going to be the individuals that have a foundational knowledge of the Dynamics 365 applications, the Power Platform, cloud computing. This is basically a good starter to taking your Dynamics 365 training. Whether you're focused specifically in the finance or supply chain management or finance and operations plan, or if you're looking at your customer service, your sales, your customer engagement capabilities, this is a good starting point to that, and understanding the fundamentals of all of them and how all the applications can work singly or in a kind of in a silo, or actually work together in an environment. You should have a basic understanding of some business scenarios. We'll talk about that in some of our exam breakdowns, looking at how you can address the needs of a business from a business perspective, legal, security requirements as well. So our learning path for this is there's 3 major areas that we're going to be looking at from a functional and foundational knowledge for Dynamics 365. Understanding the applications, as we talked about. Now, not just understanding the applications themselves, but also looking at the deployments. How do you deploy this? What options do we have available for us? We have online, we have on-premise. What are the benefits to using one over the other? Looking at the licensing. How do you onboard people? How do you deploy your customizations to these different applications? How do you provide support for the applications as well? So these are the core areas that you're going to be covering, and when you have this information, your next step obviously is to look at taking the exam, MB-900 for Dynamics 365 Fundamentals. When you pass this exam, obviously shows you the certification that we have here. You're certified for Dynamics 365 Fundamentals, and if you do that during Ignite, stop by the certification booth and you get a cool enameled pin that you can pin on your lanyard. It's pretty neat. But it is a big achievement to take this, so hopefully all of you will come up to me afterwards and say, I passed it, I'm so excited, I'm now certified in fundamentals. So let's talk about taking the exam. A couple of you have not sat for a Microsoft certification before, so what can you expect? In this particular certification exam, you're going to see about 40 to 60 questions. Now, if for some reason you need to take this more than once, keep in mind that you're not going to see the exact same questions the second time. There's a large pool of questions that may take you multiple times to actually get the same question again. Hopefully all of you here will not need that multiple time to see those questions, but about 40 to 60 is what you're going to see. Some of these questions are going to have points that will be recorded. Some of them might have more than one point. There's no penalty for guessing if you get something wrong. Just make your best guess. I recommend that you take your time and read the question thoroughly. Read it a few times. If you're unsure, if you don't know that you have the right answer, or you just want to come back to this, during your exam you can mark a question for review, and that will be something that you can go back to at the end, review that information later on, and go back to that question after you've had time to look at it. Plan for about 90 minutes. 60 of this will probably be going through the questions and answering them. The other 30 will be getting signed in, reviewing the non-disclosure agreement, the agreement that you're going to have at the beginning of the exam, obviously viewing your score report, as well as answering questions that you have or comments that you have about the questions themselves. You can provide feedback if you think a question was unclear, if you're thinking the answer might be more than one option. The exam writers and the exam managers look at that content very seriously and review that in determining whether or not that's a valid question anymore. So do take your time for that as well. And keep in mind, with this type of exam, while you might not have performance-based where you have to actually go build a flow or write code, there's going to be different types of questions. It's not all multiple choice. You'll have some that are build list, where you're building a list of answers in an appropriate order, or that you might have a drag and drop, where you're dragging and dropping answers over to another area. So those are going to be some of the types of questions that you're going to see. Now you're probably like, great, Sarah, I've got an understanding of this. I really want to know what's on this exam. So we're going to take a look at the objective domain. This exam is broken up into 3 main topics, and that is going to be the first, understanding Dynamics 365 applications. Look at the percentage on this one. This is pretty high at 40 to 45%. This is almost half of your exam. There are a lot of applications for us to go through, understand how they work, just at a fundamental level, so this is going to take up a good portion. We'll then get into understanding our cloud concepts. This will take about a quarter to a third of the time, and then of course your understanding deployments and releases. We're going to take every single one of these and break them out further into subtopics, and then we'll actually get into some of the details on that. So let's take a look at the first practically half of your exam with your Dynamics 365 applications. You're going to break it down into understanding apps for customer engagement, for unified operations, understanding the Power Platform, and then understanding application basics. So what do we mean by all these? Well, first of all, let's talk about the apps that you're going to be wanting to know for customer engagement. The first that we're going to see here is Dynamics 365 for sales. And when you look at this information on this PowerPoint, you're going to have 2 links available to you for a lot of these. The first is access to the documentation, if I just want to know how it works. We'll also have a link for you to access the free self-paced training or learning capabilities that you have on Microsoft Learn. So you can go through this and get a high-level overview of the application. Dynamics 365 for sales allows you to help nurture your sales prospects, your accounts and your contacts, being able to manage that sales process from the lead, where maybe that's someone that contacts you on your website, that emails you, that calls you, taking that from the beginning and working it all the way through an opportunity, making a quote, working with an order and creating an invoice. Just that whole entire sales process, being able to manage that capability in an application. There's some other features of sales that include managing a product catalog, looking at some insights, some of the reporting and analytics that are available with it as well. But this is basically managing your sales process. Dynamics 365 for customer service, consider this as a platform for managing your post-sales engagement, providing that end-to-end customer service for customers that have purchased a product or a service from you. They might engage you through multiple channels like email or phone or a website or chat. Dynamics customer service will give you the capability to manage that interaction and see that from the beginning to the end and providing resolution. Some of the functionality that customer service also includes is going to be features like knowledge base, entitlements. If you have a support system where people will pay for different levels of support, making sure that we are keeping track of how much support usage they have, how much they have remaining. And then also working with service level agreements. When someone contacts you, you need to respond to them in a certain amount of time. So that's customer service just at a high level overview. And we also have field service, which is a continuation of customer service, except field service allows us to track our interactions and scheduling capabilities for on-site technicians to come and perform activities for customers. So this helps you organize that on-site service delivery by utilizing algorithms for trying to schedule resources accordingly, tracking our technicians from a mobility standpoint, where are they, setting them up for success to properly deliver that service. 2 more remaining applications in customer engagement. We're going to have Dynamics 365 Project Service Automation. This allows organizations to track and manage project delivery for customers from the sales process all the way to invoicing. So some of the functionality that we have here is that we can help plan projects for our customers using project service automation, being able to track costs and expenses with that, forecast our resource requirements, what resources will we need at what point in time so we can manage their availability and their scheduling and appropriately, manage our quoting and pricing for our projects as well, and assigning and managing resources when we need them for that point in the project. Finally, Dynamics 365 Marketing is going to help you turn your prospects into business relationships. This is where you can create graphical email messages. You can create online content to help nurture those relationships. You have interactive customer journeys that you can help nurture your leads with personalized experiences. Another main feature of Dynamics 365 marketing is the ability to organize and publicize events, being able to track all that information, cost details, registrations, and so forth. And more importantly, it's going to provide tools for managing marketing's return on investment, which is sometimes an elusive number for many organizations. Dynamics marketing will provide that capability. Let's now talk about the apps for unified operations. Now, when you go through the exam, at the time, finance and operations was a complete package. Now we actually see this separated into two different applications. One is Dynamics 365 Finance, and we also have supply chain management. Now, for finance, this is going to be a part of your ERP or enterprise resource planning. You're going to be able to utilize this application to help your business users adapt to rapidly changing environments. This gives you the capability to control finances, manage funds, and also have accurate information with analytics and being able to view that information. Some of the core modules that you'll see within finance are going to include your general ledger, working with your cash and bank management, accounts payable, accounts receivable will also be included here, capabilities for budgeting, as well as project management and accounting. Dynamics 365 supply chain management is kind of on your operations perspective, where you're going to empower your employees and organizations to get a unified view of your inventory, your warehouse, manufacturing, service and logistics. So understanding the difference between these two and the functionality that they're going to provide. These applications are more for an enterprise organization. Now, when we say enterprise, it's not necessarily, 1,000 to 1,000,000 employees. It's probably for a little bit more of a complex implementation for an ERP system. With these applications, you tend to have some user count minimums that might be prohibitive for like a small to medium business when they're looking to implement this. So we're going to see another alternative when we talk about Business Central for this. Now, another unified operations app which is available is Dynamics 365 for Talent. And I apologize, I keep putting the 4 in there. They're actually removing that 4, but it's an old habit. But Talent is actually broken into 3 different areas. We've got Core HR, Attract, and Onboard. Core HR is exactly what it sounds like, allowing you to manage your human resources, and managing your employees from hire to retire, controlling the capability for providing performance management, being able to track their skills, their certifications, being able to plan learning for them with setting up courses, agendas and sessions that they can attend, managing benefits and enrolling employees in benefits, their compensation and time off. So providing that HR solution, managing some of that time capability that you can export that to a payroll solution. So a lot of the existing employees that you're working with, you'll manage within the core HR. But how do we get employees there? That's where Attract will come into play. Attract is utilized to help manage your hiring process for potential candidates that you may hire. You can actually add them to jobs that you post within Attract. You can take these applicants through a standardized hiring process of completing activities like screening calls, appointments for interviews, assessments. You can utilize functionality with Power Apps and other tools to help maintain that consistent hiring process. When an employee is offered a position, you can utilize the offer capability in Attract to provide them an offer letter, have them sign the documentation, and then start the next phase, which would be onboarding. Dynamics 365 Talent Onboard gives you the capability to provide a welcoming experience for employees. This gives them the capability to connect with their coworkers early on, build up their excitement, provide them a checklist of items that they can complete prior to coming on site day 1, so that by the time they arrive that they are ready to go. So this is providing the capability for them to view videos, make connections with their coworkers, get all the resources that they need so that they know that they can start and get excited about their new job. 2 final applications that we'll talk about for unified operations is Dynamics 365 for retail. This is going to give you the end-to-end retail solution that delivers unified commerce across all channels. This encompasses sales, mobility, productivity, and with retail, you can have comprehensive support to help manage your business processes such as your merchandising, your inventory, and your channel management capabilities. Business Central is the other alternative that we had to finance and technically finance and operations at the point when the exam was written, but for finance and supply chain management. This is a solution that is ideal for small to mid-sized businesses. And this is going to give them the capability to manage their business, including their finance, manufacturing, sales, shipping, project management, and services. So I know we're going through this at a good pace, but there's quite a few pieces of information, not just with the apps that we need to understand, but we also need to understand the Power Platform. So with the Power Platform, there's 4 major topics that you're going to see that will be addressed. The first is the common data model. And if you want to think of the common data model, it's a shared language for business and analytical applications to use. It provides a consistency of your data that can be accessed across the applications and business processes. You'll have a set of standardized, extensible data schemas. So for example, you'll have that predefined schema is going to include an entity. When you see the word entity, think of it like a table in a database or a table in an Excel worksheet. And these entities are going to store your data. They're going to contain attributes. And these attributes will be like the columns that you see or the fields that you see on a form. So we're going to be able to manage that through the common data model. And then you're also going to have semantic metadata. So when I'm talking about a field, what type of data is going to be stored in there? Is it going to be a date and time field? Is it going to be a currency? Is it a decimal number? If it is, how many decimal places can I have for my precision? So that's the common data model is going to be that foundation. The common data service is actually going to be your secure cloud-based storage for your operation of data. So with the common data service, we're going to have data stored within entities. And we're going to have a standard set of entities like your account, your contact, your email, your different records like activities that you're going to have, like a campaign, some standard ones. The ability of using the common data service is that you can actually create your own extended entities if you want to meet your business needs. Now, when you're building an application on the Power Platform, you're going to be utilizing tools like Power Apps. And Power Apps are basically a suite of apps or services that connect to data and basically to our data platform that's on the common data service. So if we've got this data structure that we've built, how do people interact with it? How do they write to it? How do they view information? How can they update those records? We do that by utilizing Power Apps. So we've got a base set of tools that we can use. We can rapidly deploy an application utilizing either a Canvas app, kind of that pixel by pixel design that you can build an application for a unique purpose, or you can build a very sophisticated application if you want to, utilizing maybe model-driven apps or a combination of model and Canvas apps. You can utilize Power Apps to connect to your data in the common data service, or you can utilize it to connect to third-party or online data sources or even on-premise data sources as well. And then we also have Power Automate, which, as I mentioned, was just announced yesterday. You'll probably see this in the exam as listed as Flow, but this is a way for you to provide automation across your common apps and services. There are over 270, I think there's about 275 connectors that you can work with. The examples of automation that you can have are that you can quickly respond or automatically or instantly respond to an email. You can have a process that's going to help you track and create and nurture lead records within your system. You can also use it for an approval workflow process, different steps that you need to complete, routing those requests to the appropriate individuals. So this functionality will be available within the Power Platform. Now, the last part that we need to have for just the understanding of Dynamics 365 applications is going to be understanding the application basics. So what do we mean by this? The infrastructure stack. When you're utilizing Dynamics 365 Finance or Supply Chain Management or Retail, the infrastructure that's going to be needed to utilize these applications is going to be a little bit different than what you would see for a customer engagement application like customer service or sales or field service. So if you're deploying this, depending upon if it's going to be online or on-premise, what does the infrastructure look like for those applications? Also, you'll see some topics about solution basics. And what we mean by solution basics is how do we, when we're working with an application in Dynamics 365, when we make changes to it, when we customize it, how do we move that information from one environment to the next? Many times you'll have a deployment where you have a test environment, a development environment, a production environment, or staging. You might have multiple environments. What is the process for moving those customizations over? What can those solutions contain? We have a link here to give you more information on that. And then, of course, the scenarios, the business applications terminology that you'll start to see as you go through and research some of this documentation. Like, what do we mean by sales process or sales process automation, or what do we mean by business processes? So some of that terminology that you'll see when you're looking into the details here and understanding what does that mean and how does Dynamics 365 address some of those scenarios. So the scenarios that you have, many times you might be presented with a question saying, I need to have a system that's going to help me manage my point of sale system for my business. Do I utilize sales or service or field service or retail? So understanding what application is going to best fit in the scenario that's provided. So now let's talk about the cloud concepts. This is about a quarter to a third of your exam. And the three main topics that we'll see here are to understand cloud architecture, compare the different types of cloud services that are available, and compare cloud offerings with corresponding on-premises offerings. So as you're doing your research and looking at the content for this, the first thing about cloud architecture is just understanding cloud computing overall. Think of cloud computing as you're renting maybe some storage space or CPU cycles from another company's computers. You're wanting to get that processing that you can utilize to work with your data, to report on your data, to manipulate your data, but you don't want to have to maintain that infrastructure yourself. So that's what we're talking about with cloud computing. It's a model where you pay only for what you use. You don't have to worry about maintaining the infrastructure. Companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, they're cloud providers. They're responsible for updating the physical hardware that your cloud services are running on, making sure that they're up to date and secure. You'll also hear the term Microsoft Azure as we go through this, as well as this can be a solution when you're working with Dynamics 365 applications. Azure is going to be a set of those computing services. You can use it to build, manage, and deploy applications on a massive global network, so not necessarily just a localized environment, but making it available elsewhere. And with Azure, you'll be able to use a tool set of you have your preferred tools if you want to, and frameworks that you're used to working with. And when you're talking about cloud-based apps, how do you utilize them? When we talk about Dynamics 365 for customer service, I keep using that for, I apologize, Dynamics 365 customer service or field service or finance and operations, they don't necessarily require a client to be installed on a workstation. Many times you can access them simply through a browser and be able to work with those applications. It doesn't require a whole lot of maintenance from that perspective. So how do we utilize those cloud apps when we're working with these applications? And as part of the understanding our cloud computing, we also want to look at the different cloud services that are available. So these 4 items that we have here, there's links to describe what each of them are. Infrastructure as a service, for example, is basically your computing infrastructure that you provision and manage over the internet. This is a pay-as-you-go system. Your platform as a service is a little bit similar in terms of the pay-as-you-go, but this gives you the capability to deliver anything from a simple cloud-based app to a very sophisticated cloud-enabled enterprise application. Our software as a service is going to be something that we're probably all familiar with. How many people use Office 365? All right, that's an example of a software as a service. Email functionality, calendar functionality, working with Office 365 and different applications. This is a pay-as-you-go service. Now, the fourth item, your hybrid, your public, private, or government. So I want to talk about these. A hybrid environment might be where you have some of your functionality in the cloud, maybe using software as a service like Office 365, but you might have another application deployed on-premise, like finance and operations, or having Dynamics customer service or sales installed on your servers within your network. You can have that hybrid capability, having Exchange online or on-premise and working with a cloud-based app. There's combinations of that. The public cloud is one that we tend to all use when we sign up for utilizing customer service or sales, and we're using Dynamics 365. We tend to use the public cloud, whereas a private cloud might be something that a partner or a specific company has their own hardware that they're maintaining for you, and you might share that with maybe another few select customers, or you might have that infrastructure to yourself, but it's managed by someone that's more than likely not a big cloud service provider like Microsoft. And then your private cloud, when we're talking about privacy and security, that's where we talk about the government cloud. This is actually still a cloud service provided by someone like Microsoft, except with the government cloud, it's actually going to be in separate data centers. They're going to have a little bit more strict security, strict release cadence as well, in terms of when we see some of the new functionality that comes out with Dynamics 365. Government cloud may not receive that right away because they have a certain process that they go through. They may also not have some of the functionality that you see in a public cloud scenario, where utilizing functionality with integrating with Azure, or specifically artificial intelligence or AI. Some of that functionality is not available in the government cloud quite yet. So understanding those four different types of cloud services, and particularly when we're talking about the different types of cloud deployments, will be helpful for you. So when you get an understanding of that, one topic that we want to look at is how do we compare our cloud offerings with on-premise offerings. For example, when to use on-premises versus cloud. For a lot of organizations that I work with, for people that are determining it, a lot of them use on-premise simply for security purposes. They do not want anyone to access it outside the network. Using a browser, you have to use maybe a VPN, or even if you can use a VPN, maybe you don't, maybe you access that while you're in with the network so you can keep your data very secure. For those people that utilize the cloud, obviously making that capability to access your data and work with it anywhere. So understanding the benefits between those. When you're thinking of the determination of on-premise versus cloud, you have to think about the stack in terms of, what functionality do we need to have? What accessibility do we want people to have? What is going to be the ramifications of us doing this? The cost initially for deploying on-premise versus going to the cloud. It might be expensive initially for on-premise, but then when you're not having to deal with many updates, you're not having to pay subscription licenses sometimes, it might be beneficial to go on-premise. For both of these, you do want to understand the cost options, which might be beneficial for you in terms of, do we want to have to hire someone to maintain the infrastructure, or do we want to pay a recurring subscription bill so we don't have to worry about that? All right, let's talk about the last third of the exam. This takes up about a quarter of the overall percentage of questions and scoring, and that is to understand your deployments and releases. So we're going to talk about the different types of deployments, the releases, the role-based security model that we utilize in both unified operations as well as customer engagement, talk about GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, and then, of course, our licensing options. So for the different types of deployments, you're going to want to understand how application lifecycle management works and how it works with the two different core applications in terms of unified operations and customer engagement. For those of you that don't know, application lifecycle management basically gives you the capability to manage or governance or provide governance to the deployment, the development of your applications, managing your requirements, working with the software architecture, how you handle releases and updates, How do you handle change management when that occurs? Understanding how application lifecycle management works with these applications and how you can do that. We talked about our online deployment and on-premises deployment. For on-premises, what are the tools that I need to have? What's the infrastructure that needs to be put in place? What are the technologies that we need to use in order to utilize this? Also, for our different types of releases that we have, I know I'm going fairly fast here, but I want to get to a couple of topics at the end here. For the different types of releases, when we have new functionality that is released, they come out in different phases. So the first phase of that might be a private preview. If you've heard of private preview, this is only open to a select group of people. Support might be available, but a lot of these changes that you're doing to your environment when you do a private preview are usually not under support. That's to say that Microsoft doesn't help provide assistance with that, but the functionality isn't final. The code isn't final with that. You may have some functionality that is not completely there. As you go through private preview, feedback is provided, changes are made to the system, then you'll have you'll have a public preview, which then is open to the public. And a lot of times with your private and your public, you're deploying these on sandbox environments, not production environments. And as through this process is going, some limited support might be available. And then once that is finalized, you'll have general availability where the code is pretty much affirmed, confirmed, and solid at that point. For your hybrid public, private, or government, when you talk about your types of releases, this can vary. If you're on a public cloud, for example, you're going to see these updates on a regular basis. As you know, with a lot of the Dynamics applications, at some point, everyone's going to have that update or that new functionality. It will get deployed to them. If you're using a private cloud, you're dependent upon your provider to apply those updates for you. If you have a hybrid, like an on-premise deployment of an application, and you're utilizing the cloud for something else, those updates might not be available to you as there might not be on a regular cadence like you would see with the public cloud. And then with government, some of those releases might be a little bit delayed, perhaps by 6 months, as they are going through their certification and gating process for those releases. For both of our applications or groups of applications for unified operations and customer engagement, you do want to understand the security model. And the high-level points that I want to point out here is that there is a security model. It's called the role-based security in your applications. And what this provides is the capability for you to manage security down to the entity, to the record level, and sometimes even down to the field level of what people can see. Role-based security is focusing on a person's job function. For example, you might have a salesperson. You might have an accounts receivable clerk or accounts payable clerk. What functions do they perform? And with that, you can help design the security that's going to meet the needs for those people to perform the functions and tasks that they need to and access the data they need to in the system. And when you're working with security, we have the capability of making it a little bit easier in managing our users through teams. So applying security to a team, and then as people are moved in and out, security automatically applies to those individuals as well. And you'll see some of these security models as you're going through the different applications. Also understanding GDPR, so our general data protection regulation. The key things that you want to know about Dynamics 365, and you can actually click on this picture in the PowerPoint to take you to the page listed here, is not necessarily that having Dynamics 365 immediately makes you compliant. It doesn't. It provides you the tools that you need to become compliant. So it shows you the functionality that's going to be there to help you achieve that compliance. And then finally, licensing options. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge because licensing has just changed as of October 1st. So the key things I can tell you for your licensing types is to think about licensing from an application standpoint. You can license a user to use just strictly sales or utilize just talent. But you can also buy a larger license that in some cases you might add on for maybe an extra amount of money to be able to utilize sales and service. or sales and service and field service. Just understand that you can restrict your licensing to the application that they're going to use, or you can buy something that allows them to use multiple applications. For example, a unified operations license will allow you to use finance and operations, and retail, and talent, and then of course there are going to be some license minimums with that as well. And of course we have our team member license, which is the license that gives you limited functionality, but it's a little bit more cost effective. And the key thing here is obviously choosing the right one for these applications. All right, so that information was at a very high level of the topics that are covered in this exam. So other than being in this session and probably being a little overwhelmed with how much you might need to look at, how can you prepare? One of the best ways for you to prepare is to look at some of the learning experiences that are available to you. Microsoft does have a really great comprehensive learning system available for you. We mentioned that you can utilize microsoft.com/learn, or if you go to docs.microsoft.com, you can visit their learning area, looking at different learning paths, go through different modules. There's actually a learning path for this exam that takes you through those high-level topics that you need to review. Events like this, obviously attending an exam prep session, attending other conferences or workshops that cover those topics, sometimes seeing that in action is going to be very beneficial for you, because when you sit down at the exam, you might remember seeing a demonstration of how licensing works or how security is implemented in an application. There's also in-depth classroom training that Microsoft provides utilizing Microsoft official curriculum. It is usually provided by a Microsoft certified trainer, someone that has the knowledge and has been certified in that area as well. And then, of course, going through all these different learning methods will help you get to the next level where you can validate the skills and the experience that you have by achieving a certification. Another way for you to prepare is that you can actually view the certification overview for MB-900 at the link provided. A couple of things that you'll see there are, one, you'll see the exam page. So a listing of all those topics that I basically laid out in this PowerPoint, the topics that you need to understand, and usually with a lot of those bullet points that you see, you're more than likely going to see a question within the exam on that topic. So I know it seems like we're having a very broad range of information, but you more than likely will experience some type of question on those topics. Microsoft Learn, a really great tool for providing that self-based training. You'll be able to track your progress, jump in and out of that learning as you go, access the modules that you don't know, skip the ones that you do know. If you have questions on this, please visit the Learn booth. You've got excellent resources there that are happy to help you with that. Classroom training, if possible, recommend doing that. But a really nice feature that you're going to have in preparing for this are practice tests. If you look at the exam page, you'll actually have a link to where you can access a practice test. You can purchase that if you want to. But being as an attendee of Ignite in the hands-on labs area, you do have access to these practice exams for free. So if you sit down at one of those workstations, you can go through this exam and practice before you actually sit down for the certification. So as an attendee of Ignite, you're going to have the capability to have the exam functionality here. But afterwards, after you reviewed this information, you're getting comfortable with those details, you can actually take a certification exam for free after Ignite. There's a process here. If you registered for Ignite using an email address like I did for my work email, but you've taken prior certifications with another email address, for me, like my personal, there will be a process for you to link that. We just need your email that you used to register to verify that you get that exam offer. This barcode is available in the PowerPoint deck. You'll also see that at the Microsoft Learn booth as well if you want to scan that to get those details. So what are the take action steps I would like you to do? First of all, visit the certification booth at Microsoft Learn in the Learn area. A lot of great resources there for you. We have a tech workstation that you can sit at and go through some of these modules. You can speak to an expert, particularly in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform, to find the resources that you need, not only for this exam, but for any other exams you're looking at from a Power Platform or Dynamics perspective. Schedule your exam. Practice with those free practice tests, as we mentioned in the hands-on lab area, and explore other Microsoft certifications as well. We have other exam prep sessions throughout the week. You'll see the schedule at the Learn booth as well. We have the breakout codes here, the topics that will be covered. Feel free to visit those as well. Some other great MCTs will be delivering that content. And of course, before you step out, we do ask that you complete your evaluation. One final thing I want to tell you and to help prepare for this is if you want to go through the Learn content, it's great. Sometimes hands-on experience is something that is very valuable in preparing for this. If you have the capability, go out and sign up for trials of finance or for sales or customer service or even just working with the Power Platform. Sometimes just going in the application and working with it and trying things out is some of the best ways for you to learn. So I recommend you do that as well. So with that, if you do have any questions, feel free to come and talk to me afterwards. I'm happy to step down and answer any questions for you. But feel free to visit this session in the community if you want to review this content later on, as well as the PowerPoint deck. And with that, I want to thank you for your time. I hope you have a great Ignite and good luck on your exam.